Close to the shores of Africa, the Canary Islands, and they're one of the world's favorite tourist destinations. On March the 27th, 1977, two giant aircraft are heading there. The 650 passengers think they're on their way to paradise. They're on the road to hell. The story begins at midday on the 27th of March. Pan Am Flight 1736 is nearing the Canary Islands. The plane left Los Angeles via New York the afternoon before. On board the Pan Am plane are 380 passengers. Just ahead of the Pan Am is another jumbo jet from the Dutch airline KLM. It too is heading for Gando Airport with 234 Dutch holidaymakers. But not all of them are going on holiday. 3 are young tour guides who actually live in the Canaries.
I lived in Puerto de la Cruz. That's a small village in northwest of Tenerife.
There are many families on the plane taking an Easter vacation break. Among them, 53 children. Canary Islands have their own local brand of terrorists. They're determined to get independence from Spain. Few disasters are ever caused by a single event. Everything is going fine. But at that moment, the terrorists decide to act. And as luck would have it, they choose Gando, the airport for Las Palmas, where the Pan Am plane is due to arrive shortly.
There are 2 bombs in the terminal. You have 10 minutes to save as many lives as you wish.
And so it begins, the first step on the road to disaster. At Gando Airport, the terrorist bomb explodes, badly injuring a shop assistant. Luckily, she's the only victim so far.
Approach.
Security here. We've had an explosion in the terminal and we've been told to expect another. We've got to close the airport now. You need to divert all inbound traffic.
Gando, KLM 4805 is with you now. Flight level 350, inbound, request approach.
KLM 4805 Gando, the airport is closed. Divert to Los Olivos Airport via Tenerife VOR. Descent flight level 250.
250 for you now.
50.
Gando, Pan Am 1736, good afternoon. We're on flight level 370, 120 miles west, inbound, approach.
Pan Am 1736 Gando, the airport is closed. Divert to Los Olivos Airport via Tenerife VOR. Descent flight level 250.
So now both jumbo jets, along with many other aircraft, find themselves heading for Los Rodeos Airport on the island of Tenerife, half an hour away. For the air traffic controllers at Los Rodeos, it's not good news either. It's Sunday and they're short-staffed. In the tower, there are only the 2 of them.
Lima Tango 107, you are clear to descend to flight level 80, holding pattern.
At Los Rodeos, planes are pouring in one after the other.
Sunjet 282, switch to ground now on 118.7.
Sunjet 282, switching to 118.7. Good day.
That Sunday, the 2 controllers find themselves thrust into a situation that's way over their heads. Los Rodeos had never seen so many big aircraft all at once.
Spantax, hold on.
Hey, say, where are you going to put the KLM?
Next to the breather 737. KLM 4805, clear to land runway 30.
Roger, 4805, clear to land 30. Nice. Clever kiss landing. Stop. Brake here. Stop. There. That'll do. Good, good, good.
Robina, Walter and Yvonne actually live and work on this island. So when they eventually get to Las Palmas, they'll have to get another plane to bring them straight back again. The controllers are now stuck in the middle of a traffic jam, the likes of which have never been seen before at this airport. The tarmac is getting bumper to bumper.
Pan Am 1736, short final for 30.
Pan Am 1736, clear to land, 30.
And now the Pan Am is arriving, just to make matters worse. By this time, the terminal is so full, there's no room for the Pan Am passengers. In the tower, the two controllers are also getting fed up. All the aircraft are in now, so there's nothing to do except listen to the football on the radio and worry. Clouds are gathering over the airport.
Rodeos, Gando.
Rodeos, go ahead.
Gando to Tenerife ATC, we've just reopened. Temperature is 20 degrees. Winds light and variable. Arrivals raining 2-4.
Gando will start sending them your way. Let's get started.
Should be tricky getting all these planes in line.
At last, everyone can leave.
Well, here we go. To all aircraft, Gando is reopened. You can ask for startup and clearances at your discretion.
Since we're trapped in here until the passengers get back, we might as well take on some fuel.
Let's do that at Gando. It's less expensive there, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got enough to...
There might be. While I'm sitting here in this seat, I make the decisions.
In order to keep the weight down at takeoff, the normal practice is to take on just the amount of fuel you need, plus a margin for safety. But the Dutch captain takes on 55 tons, enough to get him not just to Las Palmas, but all the way back to Amsterdam.
KLM 4805, passengers continuing to Las Palmas, announced port.
Inside the terminal, all the passengers are called to rejoin their flights, but two Dutch children are missing. They've slipped outside to explore. Robina is trying to get off the KLM flight. KLM might not be willing to bend their rules, but Robina decides to bend them anyway. Fortune had smiled upon Robina van Lanschot. Of the 234 passengers on her flight, she would be the only one left alive.
The temperature is 14 and falling.
The controllers need to move quickly before the weather closes them down. On the KLM, more frustration.
Captain?
Yes.
We're missing 4 passengers.
We have 273 passengers back there who will be spending the night in here if we don't get moving. Now, unless you want to be locked in there with them, I suggest you get over to the terminal and drag them in here, now!
Around about this time, the ground controller, Roberto, manages to find the 2 missing Dutch children. He takes them back to their plane, and as it happens, to their deaths.
I'll never forget that. If I hadn't found them, they'd be alive today.
Ground. KLM 4805 is ready for startup.
4805, clear to start.
The KLM pilots start their engines one by one and prepare to go back out onto the runway for takeoff. If the weather were good, there'd be no problem at all. But everything is changing rapidly. The KLM is now back on the runway. The Pan Am prepares to follow them a few hundred meters behind, through the fog, which is getting thicker by the minute.
Pan Am 1736, ready to start.
Pan Am 1736, you are clear to start.
Thank you.
Pan Am 1736, clear to taxi on runway, following the KLM.
Pan Am 1736, following KLM.
335 tons of Boeing 747 turn out onto the runway.
I'll have 2 planes sailing on the runway.
Keep some healthy separation. Visibility is dropping every second.
The KLM plane is groping its way through fog. The 2 aircraft are following each other on the same runway, but no one can see a thing. Everyone is nervous, especially the American pilots. They know that before long, the KLM will turn round and come back down the runway at full speed, taking off. They have to get off the runway.
Pan Am 1736.
Pan Am 1736, approach.
We were also instructed to taxi down the runway, is that correct?
Affirmative. Taxi into the runway. And leave the runway third to your left.
In a 747, the pilots are more than 10 meters off the ground. It's very difficult to see out. And it's built to fly, not to drive down a highway in thick fog, trying to find an exit.
KLM 4805, how many taxiway did you pass?
I think we just passed Charlie 4 right now.
Okay, at the end of the runway, make 180 and report. Report for ATC clearance.
Okay, sir.
The Pan Am is still traveling along the runway behind them, but very slowly now.
1736, report, runway clear.
Pan Am 1736.
1 kilometer ahead and out of sight in the fog, the KLM is nearing the end of the runway. Back in the control tower, things are becoming stressful too. For several minutes, they've been unable to see either of these two big jumbo jets on the runway. They don't have ground radar like a big airport. At the end of the runway, the plane begins its 180-degree turn. It's just after 5 p.m. The two aircraft are now face to face, a kilometer apart, unable to see each other in the fog.
Wait a minute. We don't have ATC clearance.
I know that. Go ahead, ask.
KLM 4805 is now ready for takeoff.
KLM 4805, you're clear to the Papa Beacon.
ATC clearance is the route the aircraft intends to take once it's left Los Rodeos. But it's not permission to take off. That has to be obtained separately.
Las Palmas VOR.
Roger, sir. We're cleared to the Papa Beacon, flight level 90.
Right turn out 040 until intercepting the 325. We're
going.
No!
Stand by for takeoff, I will call you.
And we're still taxiing down the runway. Pan Am 1736.
Pan Am 1736, report, runway clear.
Okay, we'll report when we're clear.
Thank you, 1736.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, he's anxious, isn't he? Yeah, and now he's in a rush. Isn't it clear then?
What do you say?
Isn't it clear that Pan Am?
Oh, yes.
The die is cast. With every second, the KLM is going faster and faster. At the same moment, the Pan Am reaches the number 4 exit and begins to turn off the runway.
God damn, that son of a bitch is coming straight at us!
It had continued flying for another 400 meters before slamming into the ground. The 55 tons of fuel it had taken on ensured that everyone on board died in the fiery explosion. It's complete bedlam. In the fog, the fire trucks don't know where to go. When they eventually find the Dutch plane, it's hopeless. Everyone's dead. And the whole time, they don't realize there's a second plane a short distance away, hidden in the mist, with people waiting to be saved. It's another 20 minutes before the Pan Am plane is discovered. Only 20% of the Pan Am passengers get out alive, and most of them are gathered on the left wing, which has somehow miraculously remained intact. The death toll rises to 583 people, nearly twice as big as any previous accident. The official report is written by Spain. It blames the accident on Captain Van Zanten's decision to take off without permission. The Dutch refused to accept it. They published their own report, blaming language difficulties and the general confusion at Los Rodeos. The insurers pay out a record sum, $2 billion in today's money. As for the survivors, the images of the 27th of March will always be with them.